Jhon, I know that I am excited. I am thrilled to have you aboard. I was just saying that I love history. I love history. That was one of my favorite subjects in college, and I love the history of our company. And I think there is very few people that know the history more than you do. You know, you've been around, my friend, for a long time. in this time, you have been around for a long time. Okay. Yeah. So you're very valuable. I hope you are taking care of yourself because
I
we've
am. I
been
am.
around for a long time.
I well, I take my IMMUNOTEC every day. So for 28 years. So
Wonderful.
there you go.
How many years have you been taking it?
28, 28 years.
28 years. I've been saying 27 years. My
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah, yeah. 20.
Wow.
It's my 28th year. Yeah.
Wow. This is amazing. I've been taking it for 6.5 years. It's late, obviously. And may I know your membership number? What is your number?
Let's see. 5321.
5321. So you have to be one of the first ones, right?
My mother was my original sponsor. Hers was 1163. And the numbers only started at 1100. So she was basically the 63rd distributor in the company.
So she was the 63rd and you were the 64th.
No, because I didn't join right away.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I took the product, but I was in another network marketing company and I was doing some traveling and other things. And when she started, she only started as a customer, but they gave her a number because it was cheaper. So we eventually started buying product as a customer, and then we became a distributor just because it was less money.
Absolutely. Jhon, are you Canadian or are you American?
I'm American, but I've lived in Canada and worked in Canada off and on for over 30 years. My wife is Canadian, so my kids are dualies. They're citizens of both countries.
Okay. Well, in Immunotech, it really does not matter, where you're from because we're part of the family, right? I was just curious. Jhon, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Jhon Solider? I know it's a word recipient of the most prestigious award, that the company has to give.
This one,
So
there it
yeah,
is.
so you have it right there. There you go,
There it
right
is.
there.
There it is. And it's so heavy, Del, that I can actually do curls with it. It
Yeah,
weighs about 40 pounds. It's very heavy.
yeah. You have to probably pay extra, from Mexico City, and you live in Dallas.
They almost the security wanted to take it from me because
Oh,
they thought it was a weapon. I said, no, look at my name, and I said it was an award, and then they let me through with it. I was like, all that work, and it was going to wind up in
my
Mexico
God.
City's security lockup.
Jhon, tell us about what you told me that you did another network marketing company when your mom approached you about
Uh,
the business, and
I
tell us what made you change your mind into Immunotech.
well, okay, so 41 years ago today, as a college student, I was introduced to network marketing. Today, 41 years ago. And
Mhm.
I stayed in the industry. I did very, very well with a couple of different companies over those first 13, 14 years. And what happened was in 1996, the company I was with, I was vice president of sales, a company here in Dallas. I went to the Olympics in Atlanta. Some of our athletes were using product, so I went down there. And afterwards, I decided I didn't want to really be on the corporate end. I wanted to be back in the field. I wanted to be a distributor again. And I took a couple months off. I went over to Israel. I was on kind of a holy retreat. I was seeing the Holy Land. And I got a phone call from my sister that my mother had transacted, she transacted cancer, frankly. And I came back to the US. My mother lived in New Jersey at the time. She went through a multitude of tests. She didn't have the full blown cancer where she needed surgery, but she needed to change some things about her diet and what she was doing at that time. And when we were leaving the doctor's office after her last visit, this was in December 1996, I asked the doctor, is there a supplement that she could take, like a vitamin or an herb? Because I've been in nutrition my whole life basically. I built an athlete and then as a networker. And long story short, the doctor told us about IMMUNOCEC. So this started with a doctor telling us about IMMUNOCEC. My mother got on the product, got results. A few months later, we're buying the product. We find out that the company is a network marketing company. So I said, Mom, you might as well just sign up. My mother was not a networker, by the way. She'd never been a multi-level before. But I said, why don't you just sign up? We'll get the stuff cheaper. So she did.
So you were an Olympic athlete?
No. I was involved in the supplementation of Olympic athletes. This was back in the mid 90s. Yeah.
And what happened after she started taking the IMMUNOCEC?
Well, she had such good results on the product that I decided to get on the product. And that's about the time where I started to talk to the one of the owners of the company, Chuck Roberts. And he made a suggestion that he said, look, if you really want to look at the company, why don't you come up to Montreal? And I said, that's a good idea. And I had a friend who lived in Toronto and a friend that lived here in Dallas. And I said, I wanted to bring them with me. And why did I want to bring them with me? Because I knew what I was hearing about and seeing with IMMUNOCEC with my mom. But I wanted other people's opinions, because to join a business is a different thing than taking a product. Take a product, anybody can take a product. But if I'm going to join a business, I'm going to make a commitment to it. And I wanted other sets of eyes on it. I want other people to evaluate it. So I brought them with me. And why don't you go ahead and translate that, because the next part is about Dr. Bunos. So what happened was we went to Montreal. We went to the office. And Jhon Molson, who's still part of the company today, was one of the three owners. And he gave us the tour. You go around, you shake hands with people and, all that stuff. And he said, you guys are really lucky because Dr. Bunos is actually here today. And when Bunos came in, we were sitting in his office. He came in, and his office was very messy. He had a very messy office. And when he came in, he apologized for the mess in his office, but he said, I've been in Italy for the last 2 weeks, and I just assumed he had been on vacation. And I said to him, Doctor, were you on vacation? So he said, no, I was not on vacation. Oh, so what were you doing over there, doctor? And there are three things that, hopefully you can see three, I got a backdrop here. There's three things that if there's nothing else you remember about our discussion today, I hope you remember, because they will help you to build a huge IMMUNOTEC business. Here's what they were. Number one, he had been at the Vatican Library. Now, to get in the Vatican Library, you have to be somebody special. You just can't go like you do your public library in San Diego or wherever you're listening to this call. So he's at the Vatican Library, number one. Number two, he's studying Hippocrates. And Hippocrates, and what was he studying? What Hippocrates had written? In the ancient Latin about the immune system. So those three things, again, just to review. He's at the Vatican Library, that's number one. Studying Hippocrates, that's number two. And he's reading it in the ancient Latin language that Hippocrates wrote it in. So what I knew at that point, I looked at my two friends and I said, I don't know what either one of you want to do with this, but I found my life work at that point. I said, this is going to be something I'm going to be part of for the rest of my life. Because the commitment to me was, I knew I was around a genius. I knew that Bunos was a legitimate genius, and that the product that I was already taking it. My mom was already taking it. But I knew that the product had the legitimacy to stand the test of time, the scrutiny from FDA, from other governmental agencies around the world, that the product was legitimate. And I knew that this had never been done in network marketing before. This had never been a product built from the scientific community in network marketing. Everything else was purely, a berry on a tree or something that somebody found and it was good for you. And those stories might have all been good. But at the end of the day, they weren't sustainable. I knew IMMUNOCEC would be a sustainable product to build a company around. And we went to work. We started to bring people in Toronto, Canada. I went back. I lived in Toronto for the next year. And we enrolled over 3,000 people, and that's really what got the business started. And let me make a couple of other notes for the audience. I don't want to lose sight of the fact that we have two other great scientists along with Bunos that really were why this product is where it is, and I want to mention them. So, and Dr. Patricia Kongshaven, you've all heard her name, I think, unless you're real new. Dr. Kongshaven also way ahead of her time. She was running the chemistry department at McGill in the 1960s and 70s when women were not department heads in big universities. So she was way ahead of her time with that. But scientifically, she was the world's leading expert in what was called immunochemistry, which was the study of the immune system based on chemistry at that time. And the other gentleman I want to mention, Dr. Wolf Droga. And the first time I met him, I knew who he was. He had written 380 papers that had been published, 380 papers. He had run the National German Cancer Institute in Heidelberg, Germany. So who else was he? Well, he was a Max Planck fellow. Who was Max Planck? Max Planck was Albert Einstein's mentor. Dr. Droga came to IMMUNOTEC after he retired from running the German National Cancer Institute. He could have went anywhere in the world to work. He chose to come to IMMUNOTEC and to create our ImmunoCal Platinum product and to put some of the anti-inflammatory agents that are in there to develop them. So that's why we have ImmunoCal Platinum, was his work scientifically that he incorporated into the existing ImmunoCal product. And just a genius guy, amazing guy. So when you open your ImmunoCal tomorrow morning, when you get up and you have your ImmunoCal, you're standing on the shoulders of scientific giants. This is not just a product made to make money in a network marketing business. This is a product that has the scientific evidence that you can trust because of those three people and others. I can go into all kinds of others, but I won't for today. Those three are the primary people behind the product and the science. But I do want to mention one other thing about them. And here's the other thing that I want to mention is, even in 1997, when I decided to really start building the business, our research had already been over 20 years in the making. And that was very impressive to me as a networker, was the fact that for 21 years at that point, nobody made it 5 cents from this product. All they did was invest in it and invest in the research to make sure that it really worked 21 years before it became a commercialized product where anybody can make money. So when you talk about integrity, there's no network marketing company in the world that has the product integrity of IMMUNOTEC. And that's not me saying it as a guy who's part of IMMUNOTEC. Yes, it is. But it's also a guy who talks to company owners on a regular basis, has consulted in the industry, has been around the industry for 41 years, knows a lot of the legendary people from the 60s and 70s that really created our industry. Some of them are friends, some of them are deceased now. But my point being, when you look at IMMUNOTEC and your prospects look at IMMUNOTEC, they see tremendous integrity if you know how to tell the story of ImmunoCal in such a way that they get, wait a minute, yes, this is a 28-year-old business. Put that in your notes, 28-year-old business now. But it's 49 years of evidence-based science to support the product. The science started in 1975. So just think about, I'm 62 years old now. So this started when I was 13 years old, to put some context to it. So some of you weren't even born when this science started. I kid Mauricio about that all the time. I said, you weren't even born when we started this thing. That's who we are. And that's the integrity that, people say to me all the time, how long are you going to work for? I'm going to work till the end of my life with ImmunoCal, because I believe so strongly that every human being on the planet needs our product. And I do truly believe that there's 8 billion people on the planet. I think there's 8 billion consumers. Now, we're not going to get them all. That's not realistic. But we're going to get a percentage of them. When people hear this story, they will realize that ImmunoCal is the best way to make their immune system work properly, feel better, and to take care of themselves, whether they're young, whether they're middle-aged, or whether they're an old guy like myself now. So what other questions can I answer for the team?
I will ask you for sure. You talk about the integrity, the history, and tell us about, compared to 28 years ago. First of all, let us know how you feel. My son, he loves Immunocal. He invests $600 or $700 in Immunocal every month. He's 37 years old. My oldest son, he's a lawyer. And he said, Dad, just like you believe, this is a wonderful, wonderful product. Every time he texts, he said, why is Immunocal so good? Just he's mesmerized by Immunocal. So the question, Jhon, is how do you feel after taking the Immunocal for 28 years? You're 62. You look terrific. You look great.
Well, thank you. And I'll be 63 next month. So I would say it was a few things. Number one, if you understand some of the research, and you don't have to understand this, but let me explain this to you. And I'll give you a simple example. Dr. Luc Montagnier, who was the head of the Pasteur Institute for many years, he was the guy who won a Nobel Prize for discovering the HIV virus. Okay. And he wrote a book on oxidative stress. And oxidative stress, real simple. Cut an apple in half, leave it in your kitchen, leave it for a day, and you're going to come back and the apple's brown. In other words, the apple is basically rusted. That's oxidative stress. Okay, make it very, very simple. That's what happens to our bodies as we get older. What is Immunocal? One of the many things Immunocal is going to do is it's going to work against oxidative stress. Every disease state out there is a result of oxidative stress. So to answer your question, do I feel great at 63? Yeah. I mean, this morning I got up early. I had about 2 hours of phone work I needed to do to Europe. I went out, I threw the shot put. I do track meets and powerlifting meets still. I do masters athletics. And when I threw the shot put, I went to the gym. I did a 45-minute on the treadmill. I can't run anymore. My hips are shot, but I'm able to walk fast anyway. I came back here. I swam 5 laps in the pool. I did 2 other phone calls, and now I'm with you guys. And when I'm done with you, I'm with our IT department working on the new back office. So I feel great. My energy level's super high. I have not missed a day in 28 years of taking this product. I've traveled all over the world. Even on my when I got married 22 years ago. Even on my honeymoon, I took the product every day, and I assisted my wife did.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Jhon, tell us also about, your mom was helped with the Immunocal, obviously.
Yes. Yep.
Tell us 2 or 3 of the most outstanding testimonials that you've had in Immunocal. Keith Hooper, right? I've talked to him before. Yep. He's got some wonderful testimonials. Tell us the stories with people with some amazing testimonials, because some of the people have been taking Immunocal for, like you, 28 years. I think Keith has been taking Immunocal for 27 years.
Yeah. Well, okay. First of all, my mom got on the product. She was 69. She died 3 years ago at 92. That's number one. Number two, look at Wally Kralik, for example. There's a couple of guys, Wally Kralik, Dr. Barry White, Tom Oldershaw, and there's others that are all in their 80s that have been taking the product also for 25, 26, 27 years. They don't look their age. They're all doing great. And I would say, without making claims, I would just say this. I was in the Dominican Republic for our event back in, I guess it was October or November. And I was walking along the beach with Jim Spencer. And he introduced me to a guy who had been so sick that he was told basically go home and die, make your final will and all that. And here this guy is on a trip, an incentive trip in a foreign country, and he's not supposed to even be alive. And to me, we can't make claims about that stuff. That was him, and we can't say that's going to happen for everybody, even on the calls. It's not going to happen for everybody. But here was this individual. He introduced me to him. I'm talking to the guy, and then Jim and I continued our walk down the beach, and Jim tells me the guy's story, and I'm saying, wow, to start a business and to spread a product like this around the world, I don't know who got that guy on the product, but because we saw this thing all those years ago, and we valued the science and we valued the scientists, those type of things have now happened in people's lives. And to me, that's what's going to keeps me going, is I want to continue that legacy of Bunos, Kongshaven, and Droga the rest of my life.
Jhon, what about the business? You're the upline of Dr. Ricardo.
I'm
one of the upline.
Well, not only Dr. Ricardo, which is an honor, which makes me upline to your organization as well, and thank you for all of the efforts that you're making. But I'm also, this is what people don't realize, there's two legs in Mexico. If you watch the video that they used to bring me on for the award, Ilda's my other leg. She's not under Dr. Pelayo. She's under me. She's my other leg. I got two legs in Mexico, one that starts in Monterrey and one that starts in Guadalajara. So when I look at that room the other day, there's 4,000 people in it. Everybody's in my downline in one of those two legs, which is amazing. I just to stand there and go, unbelievable.
Jhon, is your membership for sale?
Well, it depends. You got if you got about 8 figures, yeah. But nah, I love, like I said, I get questions all the time from people, not about buying my business, but about like, when are you going to stop? And my answer is, I still love my business. I mean, this is fun, like talking to all you great people, and whatever day, Thursday afternoon, here we are. This isn't work. I mean, come on. My father worked for a living. My father was an electrician. He had to go into manholes and all kinds of weather and deal with dangerous electricity. That's work. This is just, communicating.
Jhon, 99.99% of IMMUNOTEC is in your downline, basically. So you're a partner with Mauricio, basically. Jhon, how much did you invest way back, my friend?
Well, I listen, I mean, in all seriousness, yes, I put money back in my business to build my distributorship. I still do. We put money back in travel. We put money back in advertising. We put money back in, I've written 4 books on network marketing. We got a podcast. That's my background there, if you want to listen to it, Leaving Nothing to Chance in English, but a lot of different great people on there. So I reinvest in the business. I've probably put back over the years, a healthy, I probably put $1 million back into my business over the last 28 years. I would say conservatively, but over 28 years, not in one year, But as far as Mauricio and I being partners, no, he's still El Jefe. He signs my check, so when I'm with him, he's still the boss.
No, I understand that, but isn't it wonderful to have a partner like Mauricio? And that's the way I feel. By the way, I feel that he is my partner. And everybody around here should feel that Mauricio is his, but that's the way he makes us feel,
Exactly.
Way back, how much did you pay for your membership, Jhon?
Well, see, when we started, you bought 12 boxes, and it was $720 Canadian at that time. It was about, which is about that time, about $600 US. So about what it costs today.
That was way back in 1996.
Yeah.
Jhon, you were a believer. You saw what the product did to your mom. You saw what it did to you, and you took your friends. Obviously, I imagine they took upon themselves to join. What can you tell us? There is some people here that are new, okay, that are just getting going. Jhon, what I'm saying in Spanish is the fact that I believe that today it's a better opportunity than when you joined way back in 1996. That's what I believe. But you tell us.
Yeah, no. I would agree 1,000%. Just number one, to have Mauricio. You've got a young owner, CEO who's very driven, wants to open countries, wants to be creative, wants to do better marketing, wants to constantly improve the brand. I mean, that's great. Number one. Number two, by the way, for those of you who are new, you don't know this yet, but for this, and I know this, and some of your other people know this. He actually pays us early most months. I don't know if you noticed that or not.
Yes, I noticed that.
Like once I was telling somebody this yesterday, and they didn't believe me. I said, no, really, this guy pays us early. Like once he gets the money in the bank and all the accounting's done and everything is accounted for, he actually goes, go ahead and pay the field. Like get these guys their money, which is great. A lot of companies don't do that. They take the float on the money instead. They wait till the last minute. Mauricio gives you your money. He's a great guy. He's young. He's in his early 40s. He's driven. He wants us all to do well, and I appreciate that so much about him. But in addition to that, the research we keep coming out with. I mean, I have a patent on autism. This isn't multi-level, and this is like totally unique in our industry. Nobody's got this, so much better. IT, I got a call in 15 minutes. I'm going to have to hop on with our head of IT. We're improving our IT. Okay, now why are we improving it? Well, a lot of reasons. Okay, one of which is to attract younger people. My son, for example, is in the business. He's 20 years old. I've got a team in Monterrey, Mexico, of 17 to 21-year-olds. Well, they all grew up with one of these things in their hand, right? You and I didn't, but they are. And all that functionality and all the stuff that they need, we want to create that so they can run their entire business from their cell phone. And so can we, but so can those younger people. So we get that next generation involved with IMMUNOTEC now, and they see that there's a future for them, so that they'll be here. When we're gone, they'll be here and replace us.
Jhon, besides the ET department, besides everything else, I believe that we're only in 14 countries, pretty soon in 18. But you work very close with Mauricio, and I know that eventually he wants to join the world, not only 50 countries, but 100, 200 countries. Tell us a little bit about it. What's going to be the impact in our pocketbook, in our bank account?
Well, this year, okay, no steady date yet. We're still working on it. But Germany, these are what they call the DACH region, which is Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, will open, and also France. And these are all great markets. They're all if you look at the numbers in network marketing, they're all top 10 or 15 markets in the world in terms of productivity of the distributors. Very large companies that have grown up in those markets. Germany more so than the rest. So those are about to open. The rest of Europe being worked on. Hungary, Czechoslovakia, all of those countries at some point, probably next year. And then Asia. And Asia, a lot of you live on the West Coast. I know you're in San Diego. I know a lot of your team's on the West Coast. You've got Asian friends and neighbors, for example. Get them involved with IMMUNOTEC now and help them build their team here. So if they're Filipino, if they're Chinese, if they're Japanese, if they're Taiwanese, whatever they are, help them build their team here in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. And then when we're ready for those countries, all of a sudden you have 1,000 people ready to go into those markets that are calling their friends, relatives, and business contacts in that other country. And that's how your business explodes internationally. Okay, that's what I did with Mexico, honestly.
Yeah. Thank you, Jhon. The impact is going to be tremendous. How many countries do you foresee that we will be around in the next 20 years?
Oh, minimum 50, maybe more. I mean, there's interest all over the world. I mean, I know there's interest in Brazil. I know there's people getting product down there. I know there's people getting product in some of the Asian countries. I know I have a friend in Kenya that just called me last week. He ordered 5 boxes of product. I had to ship it to a place in Texas that'll reship it to him just to use it, right? He's using the product in Kenya and another part of the world. So yeah, I would say as long as the demand is there and the desire of people to build a business is there, we're 50, 20 years from now, 50 could be a minimum. I would just say 50 is a minimum, which means, by the way, talk to everybody. Okay, talk to everybody about this product. I have people in the Middle East on this product, in Dubai, for example. Okay, in Iran, I've got people on product. In Israel, I've got people on product. That's just, they want IMMUNOCAL. Do they want our business? Yeah, they do. But they want it around the world. Okay,
Jhon, I'm excited to be alive today and to be in IMMUNOTEC. What do you foresee? I really believe that people. I think the best people will be coming in, that will do tremendous things, that will be earning 6 figures and more. It'll be common. I really believe through technology, it will happen. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I just believe as the business expands that the growth is ahead of us, and the growth and yet stability, right? Because a lot of network marketing companies look really good on paper, but they've got no substance. We've got all of this substance, 91 completed clinical trials, patents, 49 years of evidence-based science. comp plan that pays 47 cents on a dollar. So every dollar that comes in, 47 cents goes back to us. So when you look at us, we're about a $200 million business right now. So you can do the math. That's $94 million in commissions to people like us right now. Now, we add a zero to that because we've become a $2 billion company over the next 10 or 15 years. Now do the math. It becomes much, much bigger, to your point. So we're going to continue to expand. We're going to continue to work. We're going to continue to tell people about what we've got. So, yeah, the future is ahead. So if you're here and you're new, you're here at the right time. You might say, well, I wish I was here 28 years ago. No, you don't. That was tough. I had to create all the marketing. On top of being a distributor, I had to write the sales letters. Somewhere on my desk. Hold on a minute. Let me show this to you. Hold on a second. I actually produced not only the direct selling letter, the letter about the company, I had to write it, okay, but I also produced a cassette tape. Now, some of your younger listeners don't even know what this is, okay, but this was a cassette tape that said why the medical discovery of the 21st century led me to walk away from over $40,000 a month. That's what I was making in another company when I came to IMMUNOTEC, and I walked away, and I started from zero. I started from zero.
Let me stop you right there because you have a great point right there. You were making $40,000 a month, Jhon?
In another company.
In another company, way back in 1980. Jhon, that's impressive. You know, I just from what you told me right now, my gosh, it's like, you have an amazing story. You're a visionary. There's no question about it, Jhon. If I had any doubts about you, they're completely erased.
Well, you might question my sanity walking away from that type of money, but I was single then.
Your vision, Jhon. You had vision.
I didn't have 3 kids then, so I was in a different financial place. But I'm gonna have to wrap up here to get on this IT call. But no, but the reason was when I saw the power of IMMUNOCEC, and I realized what this product was going to do, I knew not only could I surpass it financially, I didn't worry about the money. I worried about the fact that I had found a place I could permanently be. Because before that in multi-level, honestly, it was in this company, out of this company, in this company. It was a couple of different companies. And even though I made a lot of money, I knew they were not sustainable. I knew IMMUNOCEC was the brand that I could build for the rest of my life. And it's turned out that way.
Jhon, you have been a blessing today. I want you to know, my friend.
Thank you.
You are special. I thank God for your life. I really do. We bless you, Jhon, because of you, many of us are here. Give us one last word. I know you have to leave.
Last word. I will say this. I don't know if you can see that or not. Okay. In Spanish, it says avanzando. In English, it says moving up, like our moving up bonuses. Whoops. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, my books are on Amazon. I don't make money selling books. Amazon gets most of the money, so I don't want to sell you books. But the Moving Up book has a lot of the strategies that I use to build IMMUNOTEC with. The 10 penny principle, for example.
So Moving Up is one of them in Amazon, right?
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's in Spanish. It's also PDF, so you don't just stick it on your Kindle.
And if you can send me the name of the titles, I would appreciate, Jhon, if you can write them to me so that I can share them with them.
I'll text them to you. I'll have my son text them right now. He just came in my office here, and
wonderful.
But
Jhon, say hi to your son and tell him that he's got a great dad.
I will. Hey, these guys say you have a great dad. What do you think? He doesn't know. I'll text him. Thank you all. Also, by the way, my podcast, unfortunately, it is all in English, but Leaving Nothing to Chance. A lot of information on there, not just about network marketing, but also AI. So
send me that information because I have some people that I would like to connect. Okay.
Excellent.
Jhon, have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
We want to have you live in San Diego one of these days. So
absolutely.
So I know. You have to, so we need to talk. We need to talk, brother.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. You have a wonderful day.
You too. God bless. Okay. Bye-bye.
God bless.
Revolución del bienestar está aquí, IMMUNOTEC junto a ti, para impulsar siempre tu crecimiento. Una historia de éxito serás, siempre te superarás y alcanzarás aquí en IMMUNOTEC todos tus sueños. Somos mucho más que un gran producto en el mercado, somos calidad y excelencia. Una familia unida.